Hi, this is Pete the Tech Guy, and this is the latest of our subscriber-only commentaries. If you're watching the Tease and want to see the whole commentary, just go to DaTechGuyblog.com, DaTechGuy blog.com, hit the tip jar for any amount, and I will send you the code so you can see this commentary. If you want the commentaries every week, hit subscribe for any amount, and I will make sure you get this commentary before it goes up on the net. I want to talk about generational changes, and I'm going to use an example, a change that happened in the church recently. By the church, I mean the Catholic Church of which I'm a member. A lot of non-Catholics may not know that there's a new translation of the Roman Missal, basically the Mass that Catholics worship at, that is now being used. It's been used now for a little bit under a year. Now, actually, the official Mass is in Latin, and it's translated into the various languages that's being used. A new translation, a more accurate translation of the Latin, has now been put in place. It took many, many years. The Vatican doesn't do anything quickly. In fact, my parish priest mentioned once that when he became a priest 20 years ago, one of his people said, well, don't bother buying a Mass book because they're going to have the new translation out any time now. Any time became 20 years. But the new translation is now out. And it's going to take really 2 generations for this translation to really take. Right now, if you go into a Catholic church, any Catholic church, you're going to find these little plastic cards. And little plastic cards will have all the prayers on them because the prayers have changed. If you grew up saying the prayer a particular way, you're used to it that way, you've been saying it all your life, you're going to keep saying it. You need the card to remind you. But in a few years, that's going to change. Once you have a new generation in the Catholic schools, for example, the old generation, you're going to have 2 generations. One generation that grew up totally on the new prayers, and one that had both. But in 2 generations, both the teachers and the students in, for example, a Catholic school, are going to all be people who only knew the new translation. And it'll become like second nature to them. Who knows, maybe there'll be another new translation by then, but like I say, the Vatican doesn't change very quickly. But the idea is, it really takes 2 generations for things to change. One generation so that both generations, the students and the teachers, will be exposed to just a new way rather than know the old ways. And that's really about what this commentary is about. How the 2-generation rule works when you look at America. I'm going to explain with a special guest in a moment.